I'd like to tell you about a show of epic proportions.
I prefer me some magic when I'm trying to get in and out of houses undetected. I prefer me some magic.
A show where the boundaries are pushed.
I like spam. Is there something wrong with that?
No, nothing at all. If you prefer meat with jelly on top of it, go right ahead.
I'd like to tell you about that show, but that is not this show. This show is the Fortean Slip, with host Chris York.
I have a tendency to go to dark places with my humor. It is what it is. It's not going to change anytime soon.
Co-host Steve Alcorn.
It was so earth-shaking and mind-blowing that even John Teeter in the future knows about it.
And reoccurring, ever-present special guest, Matt Knapp.
Yeah, somebody should have put out like a giant bug zapper and just ended that whole Mothman debacle.
A show that lacks taste, a filter, and listeners.
Are you listening? Are you like hearing the fucking fart?
Yeah.
Right, not just smelling it, you're hearing
Not
the shit.
just smelling. Audible as well.
That would be something else.
Whoa.
But
you
well,
have
I do.
farts that you can't tell if it was you or not?
Well, yeah, because
What you are about to hear may be offensive, but we don't really give a fuck.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. I need to clear my throat. This is episode 28. I'm leaving on a Malaysian jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again.
love it.
Joining us tonight for the last time, Matt Knapp.
I believe it. Whatever it is, I believe it. I'm all in, folks. All in.
Matt, I got no poker face.
Got no poker face.
I've heard that you're a conspiratard.
I am.
I am too, according to YouTube
Absolutely true.
commenters.
I just go for all that stuff. I mean, I absolutely believe it.
Well, I went from being an intelligent and rational human being to a conspiratard in less than 24 hours. So,
Well, that's probably because you're abducted by aliens.
I think it probably is.
You know, they changed you whenever they brought you back.
I don't want to misquote. I'm not gonna name said individual, but I don't want to misquote anyone here.
Oh yeah.
But anybody who
Wouldn't
wants
do
to can obviously go to the comments section on the Fortean Slip News special report on the Bigfoot trail camera attack.
Which is funny that you should bring up misquoting.
Hold on. Hold on, Matt.
Are you going to read?
I'm pulling
said
back on the
quote?
fucking choke chain right now.
Just saying.
So, we had a gentleman who will go unnamed, but like I said, if anybody wants to, they can go to the channel page and look at the comments.
We refer to them as a valued listener.
Yes.
So in his first post, he says, "I saw what I saw. I know they're out there. So one anecdotal glimpse of something unidentified equals proof to him. How fucking brain dead is Matt Knapp?"
Which
and
isn't the worst thing that's ever been said.
No, that wasn't. Not the worst.
In his second post,
Yeah, because we need more than one.
he says, "Okay, that guy who believes it's a hoax is intelligent and rational." He's
That's
speaking about Steve. Now, I want to note that he went on the Norm Glasser video and trashed Steve. Okay, I'm going to continue. The other guy is just delusional. He's got the brain dead, assume the impossible with no evidence attitude that gives conspiracy theorists the term conspiratard. I don't know who he is, but you guys need to dump him like a smoking hot turd. The internet, and especially YouTube, has a disproportionate representation of conspiratard, brain dead fuckwits like that guy. We don't need more. You guys seem to be reasonably enlightened, rational, and critical of information. You aren't complete suckers like Matt is. Just heard his name. But he's just a garden variety fuck job, conspiratard. Get rid of him, please.
What say you, Matt?
I don't really know what to say. I was living under this blanket of belief for so very long that I was actually on the other side of the spectrum.
Oh, you're not.
I thought rational thought, sound reasoning, and logic, and healthy skepticism were something I was actually bringing to the table. Obviously, I was wrong. So I need to equip myself with a tinfoil hat immediately. But the thing is that just, I don't know why this part bugs me, but it does. The argument that this gentleman was using was totally false. That's not what I said at all. I mean, I was very precise in the way I stated things. I said that this, in my opinion, was either the real deal or a hoax. One or the other. All I meant by that was, this isn't a misidentified animal. This is either somebody pulling shenanigans or it's the real deal.
In layman's terms, what Matt's really saying is, I'm riding the fence, motherfuckers.
No, I'm saying I absolutely believe it's a Bigfoot. Just kidding. Joking. The other thing is I said that I had a sighting, and due to my sighting, I personally believe that I saw what I saw, so I believe these things exist. Therefore, I am going to be open to the possibility that one may be recorded on video camera sometime, or one may be photographed at some point. But I never offered it up as absolute proof of their existence, or ever pushed that on anyone. And I think I've been pretty clear about my standings in that area from the get-go. I mean, there are other episodes to the show. If somebody would like to go back and possibly listen to them before, making blanket statements based on absolutely nothing. If they would like to speak to me personally, they can reach me at 555-328-7448. I would be more than happy to speak with them. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it.
867-5309.
Yeah.
That's my number.
That's Jenny's number, motherfucker.
Is that why I get all those phone calls for Jenny?
Yeah.
I thought people were mistaking me for the weight loss company.
But yeah, to move beyond this, there was a
really?
There was a fucktard. There was a fucktard who posted on the fucking YouTube. I mean, hey, if he enjoys listening, power to you. Listen all you fucking want. Make informed and well thought out posts before you just go slamming people. Because you praise Steve in one and bash him in another.
I was all, happy about that too.
Oh yeah, you were. You were doing the dance of fucking joy.
I read the whole thing, and the only thing I came out of that with was that I was the intelligent and rational one.
I want to note, Matt, that I told him he was an asshole. I'm like, I tell you that a guy bashes Matt, and what do you take out of it? That he fucking likes you.
What? Flattery.
Yes, and then of course Chris has to burst my bubble and direct me into the other video where he, bashes me. So
right.
I mean, aren't words like conspiratard and smoking hot turd and fuckwit terms of endearment?
Oh yeah. No,
on the internet.
no, listen, Matt.
Right.
It's the most sincere form of flattery.
I think it is, to be honest.
555-328-7448. 24 hours a day.
Listen, we gotta get off this. Malaysian airliner, we are in high alert. Listen,
Where the fuck is it?
where the fuck is this plane? I've started digging a bomb shelter. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but holy fuck.
Being the conspirator that I am, I believe the news story that we read the other night that the aliens abducted it.
I was telling Matt that it reminded me, the first thing I thought of, Steve, you haven't seen a lot of movies, but this is a movie you may very well have seen.
I may have.
I immediately thought of the movie Millennium with Chris Christopherson.
No.
All right, I didn't think
Let her
you had.
hang.
Yeah, let it sit there for a minute. And Millennium is a movie about time travelers that come back in time to steal people who are alive on planes before they crash who are going to die. And they take them to the future because they're trying to repopulate the world. And that's the first fucking thing that I thought of when the whole story fucking broke, and I don't know why. It just fucking popped into my head. I was like, hey, that Chris Christopherson movie.
Do they do this for every airplane that's about to crash, or just some of them?
They would come back and do this on I think they were doing it on pretty much every one that they could find.
Because,
in the past. But I want to say that somehow Chris Christopherson's character wasn't supposed to die on the plane or something, but yet he remembered the people or something like that. It's been so long since I've seen the movie, but yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, this whole thing being fucking missing now, and now what was that CNN report that you sent me right before the show, Matt? That they think
They're trying to focus on the pilots.
Yeah, they think the pilots had something to do with it now.
Yeah, and I personally think that they're all running around with Hurley and Saeed trying to get away from the smoke monster right now.
Mm-hmm. It's very reasonable.
Is this a lost reference? Because I'm fucking lost. If this is a lost reference.
Here's the thing, Matt.
Polar bears.
There was. I just read that blog article. I can't remember who posted it, but it was on Mulder's World, I believe, that compared this to the Lost episodes. What happened with that plane and what happened with this plane was very similar. You got stolen passports, and there was an actor on board, and all that sort of shit. I didn't read the whole article, but
A lottery winner.
so
The latest, maybe not that part.
Apparently, the latest conspiracy theory is that
Brother and sister who really aren't brother and sister.
this plane may have not even existed. It might just be a viral marketing campaign for a new TV show or a movie.
I don't think so.
Yeah, somebody would be getting in some deep shit.
Wait a second, Matt. You're supposed to believe that.
That's right.
Believe
sorry.
what?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh yeah, Matt, you're a lemming from now on. If you stay on the show, you're the show lemming.
But it's kind of funny though, because if this had happened like in the mid 1900s, they would be saying this was a Bermuda Triangle incident.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they were off the coast of Florida, that's perfectly accepted. But happened somewhere else, and it's terrorists. It's been hijacked. It flew into the ocean. Shot down with a missile. EMP blast.
Solar flare.
They're just
meteor,
throwing straws.
Forget meteor.
We're not doing the meteor route.
Yeah, but that was one of the
We're not doing
legitimate,
that.
possible
No.
legitimate.
No.
Come on, Matt.
Okay.
Statistically speaking, that's like saying it got taken down with a wild frisbee.
I know, but according to Boston.com, it
I know
could
some
have happened.
pretty good frisbee golf players. Matt, I mean,
They have some pretty tall mountains over
there
there.
you go. I mean, I'm just saying.
It could happen. The right updraft.
That's right. We can make this shit happen. Hit that engine just right.
But, it still leaves the question, what's the deal? What's really going on here?
Yeah, what is really going on? Because I think that's the thing that's on everybody's minds is what is going on with this plane. Because a lot of people are extremely hush-hush about it. Like, for one, nobody's come out and claimed any type of responsibility.
No. Which typically happens in a terrorist attack.
Exactly. So,
and nobody went on air. They turned the communications off. They didn't go on there and say, this is such and such. This is what we're doing. These are our demands, or this is why we're doing it.
And the transponders were turned off. Like, what was they saying? Like 14 minutes apart.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like they both like immediately shut off. Like the plane crashed into the water and there was system failure. It was more like a deliberate thing from what they seem to be saying.
Well, from what I heard, the plane, after it disappeared from radar, went on for at least 6 or like up to 6 hours, according to a lot of the reports I've read from legitimate news sources.
What, like dailymail.uk?
No, Sky News.
Well, see, that's kind of what bothers me, is because there isn't any official word coming out or official spokesperson that's delivering the news, and this is the person to listen to. They have all these different sources of information. So you're hearing all these different stories. I mean, like the one Steve just said. Well, I also read an article earlier that said the last time they were able to locate it on radar or whatever was 7.5 hours into the flight, and they had fuel for 8 hours. Then I read another one that said they had fuel for 6 hours. So we don't really know what to believe, and that's kind of a problem because it makes it real easy to pull the blanket over everybody's eyes and not put out the factual information, whatever it may or may not be.
And what is the factual information? I mean, besides this timeline that they, have given out of what happened with the plane, I mean, we really don't know.
I think there's so much garbage going around that you can't even find the facts in it.
Right.
But the fact is that it is not your typical missing aircraft story. Normally they find them within a couple of days. I mean, they don't even have any floating debris, nothing. I mean, they found a potential oil slick, but I haven't heard anything more about that. So, what the hell?
Well, now they're throwing out the possibility that, the pilots possibly being responsible or involved. They're saying that all signs indicate that this was a hijacking, that it wasn't just some catastrophe in the air. Possibly one of the pilots wanted to commit suicide. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, so why wouldn't he just kill himself at home? Why would he take...
Well, there were two in the past, two airliners that it was pilot suicide where he took the plane down. It's a long time ago, but it has happened. But I don't know if I'm committing suicide. I don't think I'd want that many people's deaths on my soul when I get to wherever I'm going. But to each his own, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the story, it's kind of taken on a life of its own at this point because there's so much going around. It's just going in so many different directions.
Well, I think on our last show, I was a little upset about how many conspiracy theories immediately came out,
Right,
but now you kind of, but now you kind of look back and you're like, it's been several more days. They haven't found anything. Perhaps there is some sort of high strangeness going on here, It's not just your typical missing airplane. Something quite strange has happened.
But you do get a lot of people who come out and say, oh, well, you get your Alex Jones, who's, I haven't listened to anything that he said, but I'm sure he's saying it's a false flag operation and false flag operation.
Attention, citizens of Malaysia.
But, I mean, they they jump right on it. But yeah, at this point, it seems like there's something strange going on. Something out of the ordinary is happening. Is it, supernatural or, aliens? I mean, fucked if I know. Really. But
My money is on probably not.
right.
But could a government be involved, or that kind of thing? Well, that would be a better bet.
I mean, perhaps the plane was hijacked, and since 9/11, they have new policies. Perhaps the new policy is lock the cabin door and nosedive into the nearest ocean. And they don't want to tell the citizens of the world that, because then nobody would fly on an airplane.
Well, everybody just be on the lookout for that Mothman that's going to be popping up to fucking tell everybody about the catastrophe that's about to happen.
I think he missed this one.
Yeah.
Off by a nose. Get it? No, too soon.
Yeah.
No, but it disappeared from radar. So I think the most likely candidate is they don't know where to look, and it's a huge area that it could possibly be in, the majority of which is the ocean. So if the thing sank, that's going to be hard to find regardless, especially whenever they don't know where.
Right.
Eventually, and usually within a few days, things start to wash up on shore, and if it crashed into the ocean.
Right.
And so far, and it's been, how long has it been? It's been well over a week anyway.
Yeah, I think it's been a week or so at this point.
So you would think by now, there's little islands out there, things like that. Something would have washed up somewhere.
Maybe it flew into a wormhole.
You go on believing that, Matt.
What? There was a TV show about that where the airplane flew into the wormhole and ended up in the desert.
If there was a TV show, then it must be true.
Well, aliens had infiltrated the government.
Was it on the Sci-Fi Channel? Was it starring
No,
Dean Cain?
it was on Channel 2. And the president on the show was even a black man. So,
it was probably a glimpse of the future.
Exactly.
Because that show was in the past.
Exactly. I mean, I did, they showed those pictures of those two guys that were supposedly responsible for the stolen passports. And, you can clearly see where they photoshopped the legs off the one guy onto the body of the other.
I did see that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know. I did see that photo. I didn't read the accompanying story, but I did see the photo, and I'm thinking, is this legitimate? Is this what really happened here?
And let's keep in mind, I'm joking about the TV show and all that, although there was a TV show.
Oh, I thought
but this is a for real deal. You can look this photograph up. It was released through the media, and you can see that it's the same legs on the same angle and everything.
And it doesn't even match up to the other guy's body.
No.
Not at all. It's about the worst Photoshop job I've ever seen. So I don't know what's going on with that kind of shit. I mean, you got the stolen passports, and you got, I think those are pictures of the guys who allegedly stole the passports or whatever. And you got that, and you got people's cell phones still ringing, which could be or couldn't be something. And then you got reports of it still flying 6 hours after it disappeared from radar. And I don't know what the fuck is going on here. So I don't know.
And that is our answer. We don't know.
We don't
know. Except for Matt.
What?
Matt is very
knows.
confirmed on the fact that it was sucked into a wormhole by aliens who were in league with Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, and the Jersey Devil, along with some ghosts and demons, to steal the plane.
Well, the Mothman had to be in on it as well, otherwise he would have warned everybody.
That's right.
He must have been.
If you look at our logo of everybody playing cards there, that was actually the meeting that took place whenever this plan went into effect.
Mm-hmm. Dreadfun, the artist, is really, a secret.
He's a savant.
Right, and he's really like a secret government agent or something that we didn't even know. So when he drew that, he knew that this Malaysian airline was going to go down.
I had a unique idea that I haven't run by Dreadfun yet. Um,
Run it by him now. He's
right.
listening.
Oh well, yeah. So
Big fan. Big fan of this show.
I intended to message him, but he'll probably just message me. But I was thinking about where Godzilla's coming out. Have you seen that trailer where they're like all like fucking skydiving down with the red smoke plumes coming off them,
Yeah.
and they come down by fucking Godzilla? I was thinking if you could do one of the three of us, fucking like, but with our faces like all horrified like we are in the fucking Alien one, like with Godzilla behind us.
Like yanking on the parachute cord and just like pots and pans flying out of the backpack.
That'd be good too.
That's never been done before.
But yeah,
At
Steve.
least you didn't say like draw Godzilla with like the Malaysian flight, like flying into his mouth.
No.
I really thought that was where you were going.
No,
I was
no,
like,
that's-
Chris, it's too early.
No.
It's too early for that.
No.
Too early.
No. And on that note, Steve, don't you have some fucking news?
I've certainly got some fucking news. And from worldcrunch.com. Exorcism in India. It's a ghost fair that lures believers. And it's from
Believers?
Chris. Believers. Of course, Chris gives me a story that I can't pronounce anything in, but I'll try.
She did run.
Malajapur. This is from Malajapur, India, I'm assuming.
Are you sure?
Every February, people gather in the village of Malajapur in the state of Madhya Pradesh for a unique ghost fair. It's one of India's most celebrated festivals, an ancient event where exorcists rid the body of evil spirits. Martis believes that a ghost has taken control of her sister-in-law, Damarti, who has been shouting strange words for more than a month now. She says, "My sister-in-law must have been possessed by a ghost. We've come to the ghost fair to pay our respects to the temple. They're treating her now, and I hope she be cured."
She's learning Russian.
The head priest is holding a broom and starts to beat Damarti with it. After some time, he offers her some holy water and declares that she's now free from evil spirits.
And a bowl of cornflakes.
We catch ghosts here, and they never return to the body after we treat the patients, the priest says. And I lost my spot. A practice. We treat them by bringing them into the temple, then we use brooms to chase away the ghosts. A practice we've been using for hundreds of years. Every year, people from different areas. Every year, people from different areas come to be exorcised. The 18th century temple is a shrine to Saint Diogi, believed to have the power to exorcise evil spirits. Believers say the power has been passed on to the temple's priests. More than 500,000 people come here each year, says local Meekam Singh Rajput. Anyone who comes here will pray and see his wishes fulfilled, especially those who are possessed by evil spirits and ghosts, he says. People from different parts of the country visit this fair and get treatment at the temple. If you're looking for a miracle, then you should visit the temple.
Do you think they might ever upgrade and start using Swiffers?
And from boingboing.net, and this one's courtesy of Matt Knapp. Winchester Mystery House gets permit for overnight stays and on-site booze.
Yes.
The Winchester Mystery House is San Jose, California's legendary tourist attraction.
And now
built
open
by
for
Sarah
keggers.
Winchester. She was the widow of the heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, who believed that she was haunted by the spirit of Native Americans who'd been murdered with the guns and designed and ordered the construction of over 160 rooms that she designed by means of automatic writing in a special seance room.
Norm!
It's just been granted a permit to allow for overnight stays in the house, along with the right to sell booze throughout the property.
You open a closet door and there's a guy there with a Jack Daniels bottle. $10.
A special use permit approved March 5th by the San Jose Planning Department would allow overnight guests at the city landmark, but it doesn't look like existing bedrooms in the structures are included in the permit. Instead, a staff report singles out certain structures on the site, including the pump house, the caretaker's residence, and the foreman's quarters as lodging possibilities. The target market won't be traditional travelers, but rather those who want the full Winchester Mystery House experience. It wouldn't be a hotel type of thing, said the city's planning department. Some people just have a fascination with it. In addition, the city approved converting the existing cafe to a bona fide restaurant open to the public, not just guests at the attraction. Winchester Investments, LLC, the owner of the business, who also granted approval to allow the consumption of alcohol across the entire site, except the parking lot, that will presumably boost the attractions and events business.
You can also get shit-faced. We're in.
And from Yahoo.com's UK version, a crop circle researcher found floating in the sea, and the rapid decline of a UFO expert who believed he had found an alien skull are the latest in what some claim is a pattern of suspicious deaths of UFO experts. A crop circle researcher found floating off the coast of Portsmouth, and the rapid decline of that expert, and I just reread the whole thing again. And this stretches back as early as 1947, apparently.
We'll be taking donations for Steve's English Rosetta Stone at the Fortean Slip at gmail.com.
A plane supposedly shot down by the U.S. military is believed to have been carrying fragments of a flying saucer, while the death of first U.S. Secretary of Defense James Forrestal is believed to be UFO-related. Some believe that victims number in the dozens. The pattern of suspicious deaths hit the headlines again this year as activist Steve Bissett spoke on the subject on a national radio show, C2C in America. I'm assuming that means coast to coast. And a new book, Close Encounters of the Fatal Kind by Nick Redfern, is due out this summer. Recent cases include the 44-year-old Paul Vigay, who was a leading crop
Hey. Oh.
That's his name. Vigay.
Paul the homosexual.
I didn't say Paul the Gay. It's V-I-G... V-I-G-A-Y. Vigay, who was a leading crop circle researcher, and he had worked on Mel Gibson's film Signs. He was found floating off the coast of Portsmouth in February of 2009, says Nigel Watson, author of the Haynes UFO Investigations Manual. Watson says that while UFO researchers believe the killings to be the work of the government agents, some believe that the killings may be the work of aliens themselves to cover up their presence on our planet.
Here come the men in black.
Many of these cases could be coincidences or people trying to make something out of nothing, but there certainly are some strange incidents, Watson says. UFO researcher Philip Schneider became increasingly fearful for his personal safety. Government vans followed him, and several attempts were made to run his car off the road.
Eventually, you would think that the government could upgrade from a van. You know, they're following everybody around in a van.
Eventually, his worst fears were confirmed in January of 1996. A friend broke into his apartment in Wilsonville, Oregon.
Agent Coulson, and I live in a van.
A friend broke into his apartment in Wilsonville, Oregon, where his dead body had been rotting for several days. At first, it was thought he died from a stroke, and then an autopsy found that rubber tubing had been wrapped around and knotted around his neck.
Rubber tubing, eh?
Mm-hmm. And in our final story of the night, from Yahoo again, Littlefoot may have been humans' forefather. A short, hairy ape man who tumbled into a pit in South Africa millions of years ago is back in the running as a candidate ancestor for humans, scientists said Friday. A painstaking 13-year probe has convincingly shown, they said, that the strange-looking creature named Littlefoot lived some 3 million years ago, almost a million years earlier than calculated by rival teams. If so, it would make Littlefoot, so named for the diminutive size of the bones, one of the oldest members of the Australopithecus hominid family ever found. and it would bolster the status of South Africa's Sterkfontein Cave Complex as part of the Cradle of Humankind, the UN, a UN-recognized World Heritage Site. Some have said South Africa is too young to have given rise to modern man, said Laurent Bruxelles from France's National Institute for Archaeological Research. Laurent Bruxelles. Not Lawrence, Laurent.
Laurent.
From someplace in France.
We are putting... used to call them Bruxelles sprouts? Just asking.
We are putting Littlefoot and South Africa back in the running.
And in our mouth.
Another challenger for the title of human ancestor was Lucy, a specimen of a different strand of Australopithecus. The genus that had both ape and human. Australopith.
Just let him run with it, Chris. I don't even know where he's going at this point.
I don't know. Lucy walked upright and is believed to have given rise to Homo sapiens, or anatomically modern man, via Homo habilis. Lucy's skeleton, uncovered in Ethiopia in 1974, has been dated to about 3 million years.
Steve,
although, as always,
have an
fossils,
intervention.
There is a big margin of uncertainty.
You can't read the news.
No longer, and I'm going to get this right, no longer are the Australopithecus of
He
East
screwed
Africa
up in like 3 words.
like Lucy, the sole candidates to have been our ancestors, said Bruxelles. That's enough for that news tonight, fellas. And that'll be the
I want to hear the rest of it.
Okay, well, I'll keep going. No, I'll keep going. Littlefoot's age has been a controversial topic. These Sterkfontein caves...
Is this an article or a book, Steve?
Northwest of Johannesburg do not contain volcanic sediment as do the East African fossil sites, which is easier to date. This has caused estimates of Littlefoot's age to fluctuate quite drastically. Anything from 1.5 to 4.0 million years. Through the most extreme estimates, although the most extreme estimates have long been ruled out. I am just failing.
Wasn't Littlefoot the name of the dinosaur in Land Before Time?
I was just going to say
that.
What?
I think you're right.
Stole my thunder, you fuck.
And that will about do her.
That's enough.
Yeah, that is fucking enough.
Australian
fucking Pithecus. That's what you said.
Why do they call them Australian Pithecus?
I don't know, but this has been episode 28 of the Fortean Slip. If you like us, if you don't like us, don't listen to Steve, because he's going to try to talk over me while I get fucking bullshit out there. Say something. Even if we don't like your comments, we might bash you. We don't give a shit. But we are leaving on a Malaysian jet plane, and we don't know when we'll be back again.
Still looks like Australopithecus to me.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Fucking asshole.